Hey guys, welcome to the latest episode of Electric Mobility, your trusted car reviews for electric cars. We're back on a very grey afternoon in Munich here in front of the Olympic Park. We're continuing our SUV special that we're doing this winter to show you the latest and greatest plug-in hybrid SUVs from the big German manufacturers and also Japanese. And today we've got here the BMW X5 40e, which is BMW's only plug-in hybrid in the SUV segment, and we've got it in our hands today and we want to show it to you. It's come out in 2015 in the summer. When I was still working at BMW, we launched this vehicle to the media at the BMW Welt. Today we've got a little bit more industrial background here and we want to show you this car, so let's have a look. So the X5 40e from the outside looks pretty much like a normal X5. This is the F15 generation. The vehicle came out in 2013 as it is. As you see here, it's got the M package, which you can see from the fenders and the bumpers, which are a bit more edgy. We haven't got the i-Performance one yet, which got a blue grille. So this is pretty much a standard X5. Where we see the difference is, like with the Porsche or other plug-in hybrids, we've got a very subtle X5 40e, and you see the little blue E for eDrive. And you see the charging flap on the left fender of the car. So this is where you plug in the charging plug, and it's the same as in the i3 and the i8. It's lit up in the colors. White means ready to charge. Otherwise, if we have a look around in the car, like we said, it's got winter tires on and quite small rims actually. Here we've got the eDrive badge. This is the only way you can differentiate the car actually when you're a passenger. Otherwise, a very nice but standard X5. The X5 40e plug-in hybrid's got the two exhausts similar to the 40D. Some more which we'll discuss in a second. We've got here the tinted windows and space grey, the car. So the X5 40e has got a couple of interesting features. It's featuring a 4-cylinder N20 petrol engine, which delivers 245 horsepower, combined to electric motor, which is built in the gearbox of the car, which delivers another 112 horsepower. The combined system output is 313 horsepower, so that is on the same level as the X5 40D, which has 313 horsepower exactly. So BMW badged the car as a 40e to make it level with the 40D. This also refers to the price, which the base price here in Germany is 68,000 euros, which is pretty much the same as the 40D, the diesel, but includes the air suspension, the Sat-Nav Pro, and also the remote heating and the remote connectivity that you have to buy extra on the other cars. In terms of driving performance, this car delivers 313 horsepower on all four wheels. You've got an X-Drive capability, full X-Drive, and it accelerates from 0 to 100 in 6.8 seconds. The maximum speed is limited at 210, because at over 210 you're just basically kind of nullifying the effect of the car and you're not driving efficient, because this car is supposed to be an efficient X5 and therefore to be very economical. The electric driving performance comes from a 9.2 kilowatt-hour battery, which is integrated below the trunk, which we'll have a look at, and the gearbox, the motors in the gearbox, and you can drive by norm cycle 31 kilometers electrically. Realistically, this car can do 20 in the winter, or in the summer we've had good days, 26, 27, so if you're kind of soft on the pedal. What's fantastic about the car, really what I love about it, what we'll have a look at, is the smooth transition of the petrol engine and the electric motor. So you're driving electrically up to sort of 70 kilometers an hour, and then the petrol engine kicks in, but you don't really feel any transition. It sort of just comes in very smoothly and you don't really know, is it on, is it off, and you really have to look at the ref counter. So BMW here in this car really delivered a fantastic drivetrain and a fantastic eDrive experience, also with 3 driving modes, which we'll have a look at. The interior of the cars, as you would expect it from an X5, it's very spacious, very luxurious. We've got a very interesting combination here, since we've got the M package, we've got the M Sport wheel, one of my favorite steering wheels, and we've got individual leather seats, which are the highest quality leather you can get in the BMW range. Here you can see the BMW individual. They're comfort seats, they're very cozy. You've got electrical adjusts here for height, low dose, and you can save your memory position. You can basically make the car remember. You've got ambient lighting here as well, where it's blue. You can change those colors. And you've got the pretty standard BMW semi-digital instrument cluster. We'll have a look at the eDrive capabilities of that. Otherwise, you've got the iDrive controller. The car is, as standard, is a automatic because of the electric motor. And here another design differentiator, very subtly, the eDrive. In the back, you've got the sun tinted windows. And in the back you've got 3 proper seats. The middle tunnel is very low, so you've almost got slide-through seats. Here climate control here as well, where the rear seat passengers can select seat heating and select their own temperature. And you've got 2 additional lighter plugs. What I really like in the BMWs and the X5 is that you've got the integrated sunshades, which means that on a sunny day, or if you want to stay private in the back, you can just lift those up. Actually, this 3-seat row is 40-40-20, as we see here. You can put the middle seat down if you want to put skis, or if you put all seats down. If you put all seats down, you actually have a huge trunk space where you can fit probably 2 bicycles in, and a lot of cargo if you're moving or if you're going on a holiday. So that's really it's a massive car, probably comparable to the Tesla Model X or the Audi Q7. It does feel more spacious than the Porsche Panamera. The charging cable is the standard BMW Mode 2 cable, which we've seen in the other cars, in the i3 and the 225xe. It's even the I cable, power charging ground. And you can see that with this cable you charge at 12 amps, 220 volts, so this takes 4 hours to recharge the car. Alright, so let's put this back in there. The cargo space, that BMW's got the secondary space here, where actually the Mode 3 public charging cable can be stowed. The Mode 2 cable that you see there is too big because of the in-cable control box, so that doesn't fit and has to be kept sort of on the side. So actually, when we tidy up the cable nicely, like we've just done, it should fit into this compartment here on the side. So that's quite good. So now the cable's out of the way and we've got the full trunk space ready. So we'll close the trunk and off we go. We'll take a seat on those nice comfort seats and have a look at the interior of the car. Like we said, the M Sport wheel is very nice and sporty. It is very soft and grippy, which makes the car feel a lot lighter than it actually is at 2.3 tons. So we boot the car. I already say we boot the car. We'll turn the car on. 644 kilometers in total. So that's the overall realistic range of the car. And we've got 16 kilometers electric range at a charge of 64%. So we've already driven a few kilometers and used some charge. Here on the sat nav, similar to the 225xe and the i3, this is very similar. We've got the huge map. I think this is the biggest screen that BMW has, and we see the charging stations on the map, and the ones with the star there, this is the ChargeNow charging station. Those are the ChargeNow charging stations from the BMW Welt. So we've changed the settings a bit now. We've got the map view without satellite images, and here we've got the power flow diagram where you see the battery and the electric motor. Then when we drive, you'll see that that's changing. So alright, let's actually go for a drive. We'll mount the camera and show you what the car feels like on the road. So how does driving this car actually feel? So now we are basically in P mode, park mode, and we're gonna fire up the engine with the start button here. You see some lights coming on, service due, 56% battery left, but no engine running. So this is the great thing about the plug-in hybrid. The car is actually completely quiet. So now we put it into D. Default mode in the eDrive setting is auto eDrive. And off we go. So the car is completely silent. So here we see the ref count is at 0. And the car makes absolutely no noise. Now we're using electric power. Engine kicks in when we press the pedal harder. When we ease off, it's putting back energy into the battery for recuperation, and the engine goes off. So the transition is very smooth. You almost don't notice it, and you really have to look at that display to see it. So we're driving to an Aldi, where we should be able to charge the car while we do some shopping. There we go. There's already a Hungarian car parked that doesn't understand that it's for electric cars only, but there we go. 7 kilometers range left, 33% only. So we need to get out our AC cable and plug it into here to start the charging. So that's in the trunk. There's the Mode 3 AC cable, which we plug into the car. There we go, same as in the i3. Mode 3 AC cable with 2 Type 2 sockets. So one goes into the car, the big one goes into the car. There we go. And the small one, this one, goes into the charging station. So that's plugged in. Press one of the 4 buttons. We say there's CCS, ChargeNow, and we need the normal Type 2. So we want to start. And we can see on the car that it started charging. The Corona ring has gone blue and it's now charging at 3.7 kilowatt. So let's see. And we've been charging for 28 minutes and we've charged 1.6 kilowatt hours. 1.6 kilowatt hours, that's probably just about enough for 10 kilometers or so. Let's have a look in the car. As we said, as soon as we open the car, the charging will stop. Have a look there. Goes white, which means charging has stopped. But we can see in the instrument cluster, car still plugged in, and we've got 14 kilometers of range. I think when we got here we had like 6 or 7, so we've charged 7 kilometers in half an hour, roughly. So whether the combustion engine is running or not, the car is extremely quiet. They've insulated it massively. Like now the combustion engine is running, you hear a bit of roar. But it's almost indistinguishable whether it's running or not because the car is generally so quiet. So here at the traffic light, the engine goes off. I sometimes even have to check what's going on. We're here in the city, we'll use auto e-drive to cruise along in the hybrid mode, and when we're on the motorway we'll activate save battery so we can use the battery power when we get into town again. So I quite like how BMW has done the operating strategy in the plug-in hybrids, that the car prefers to use electric power over the petrol engine and only uses the petrol engine when necessary. And what's great about the X5, what I really realized, especially compared to the Porsche, is that the electric motor is very smooth and very powerful. Like, we're maneuvering this 2.3 ton tanker on electric power only. It seems to be more than enough to get this car going in a swift manner. So in this car you can really just float on a magic carpet. So we're now getting here on the motorway, and I'm gonna press the pedal harder and you can see how the engine sounds. So in this car you have the selection of the 3 e-drive modes, and you still have the 3 driving modes: Sport, Comfort and Eco. So you can mix and match those modes at will. There are a lot of combinations. It's actually quite hard to know what they do, but basically you can say e-drive controls the powertrain, and the the driving experience button, which you have in every BMW, changes a little bit the characteristics of the car in general. Fourth mode, the so-called sport mode on the gear shifter. So you select the gear shifter, and then you've got the maximum system power, which we use now here on the motorway. Driving 140 kilometers an hour. This is when the engine, when you can feel that the four-cylinder engine doesn't have an extreme amount of punch, and it starts to get quite loud. So now we're going back into town, and we're deactivating the safe battery mode, and we're going back into auto e-drive. Because in town, where we're driving slowly, we don't need to have the engine running, and we are driving again completely electrically. We've safeguarded the battery over the motorway, and we are still at 75% charge. So this is really what the plug-in hybrid X5 is ideal for. Short trips into town and then cruising electrically in town, and not causing any emissions or any noise. We found another charging station in town, which is an interesting concept because it's a charging station that's integrated into a lamppost for street lighting. So this is an innovative concept by a company called Luminosity here in Munich. This is one of their older models, but basically it's a lamppost integrated charging station that takes up no space. We've used our ChargeNow card to authorize up here on the RFID reader. We've plugged in the vehicle with our Mode 3 cable, and we see that it's charging nicely. So this is a great concept developed by BMW and Luminosity, and the only real thing is that we're missing some more of these stations. And we can see the car's charging up just as before. You see in the display we've got 17 kilometers of electrical range left. In auto e-drive it's pretty quick, even off the line. The engine doesn't even jump in, and you've got enough torque to move this big baby forward, and you don't feel like you're going slow at all. So we've programmed the route now to Munich, so we see how the intelligent energy management will actually deploy our electric power along the route. Here we're in Gauting in town, so we're driving all electrically, and as soon as we leave town, the intelligent energy management will bring in the petrol engine to hold the charge. On the uphill you see oftentimes the petrol engine kicks in, because that's when there's additional load on the system and you need more power from the system. Now we're leaving the town and the engine is running. Overall on country roads the car, you do feel the additional weight of the car. There is some body roll. I would say probably not as sporty as the Cayenne S. The suspension is softer, and you do feel that tight turns you can't really go through as fast as in a lower slung car. But like I said, the steering is still very light and very direct, so you still get that typical BMW drive feeling. Okay, so there's Munich city, so let's see where the car cuts off the engine. Yep, engine is off. We're in the city just here, so that is amazing. Just so relaxing and quiet. So we're coming to the end of our journey. We still have 5 kilometers left. 15% of electrical power on the battery. So what I explained earlier is that the strategy is really to empty the battery when you get there. And we've actually traversed pretty much the whole city for electric power only. So the intelligent energy management worked really well. And you can see that we've pretty much depleted the battery completely. 6% left. So we've driven 85 kilometers The consumption has only been 8.3 liters on 100 kilometers, which is extremely low for a car this size. I think you have to struggle with any other engine variant to get under 10 liters. Electrical consumption has been 22.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So that is lower than the Tesla, but a lot higher than the i3, for example. So looking at these figures, it's very interesting to see that given that we've maxed out our electric driving, the petrol consumption is actually significantly lower than in comparable cars. 8.3 liters for 100 kilometers is really a good value. So we've actually proven the concept works, that if you drive a lot in the city, the plug-in hybrid can really reduce your petrol consumption, and you can do 80% of your driving electrically. But this requires to have a charging point either at home or at your workplace. So we've tested quite a few plug-in hybrids now, and what's our verdict of the X5 40e plug-in hybrid? Overall, we can say it's a great car in terms of the basic car disciplines. The ride quality is very smooth, the drivetrain is extremely silky, and the whole car just drives in a very nimble way. The eDrive is an excellent addition to the car concept of the X5 because it gives you that quietness and stop and go and slow moving traffic. It is quite an intuitive car to use. You sit in it, you drive, you don't really have to think about it as much, and you don't get overburdened as in the Porsche Cayenne. So overall, those are the main benefits. What are the drawbacks? Really, for me, the benefits in the same way the drawbacks, that the electric driving is so nice and so enjoyable that you feel like, hey, it's almost too short. You know, you only get 31 kilometers electric driving, realistically 25. So that's just enough for a very short trip. And you can sort of see how the battery percentage is being eaten up while you drive, and you're enjoying it, and you're already starting to worry, hey, where can I charge the car next, you know? And this is the next drawback, is that the charging with 3.7 kilowatt is just way too slow. In the end, the plug-in hybrids, you have to plug in more often than a pure BEV, because the electrical range is gone, and as we saw, it's not so easy to find working, functional public charging stations. So as we said before, in the Passat and the 225xe, this car only really makes sense to drive if you know where you can charge it. So that means at home or in your office in a regular way. My personal verdict is that I'm going to go for a pure electric car, because it means I have to recharge less often and I get a longer electric driving sensation. But that's up to you, and there's no pure electric SUV yet, except for the Tesla Model X. But for all those who want to try electric mobility and who are looking for a big family car at a comparable price, then the X5 40e plug-in hybrid is definitely an excellent choice. So thank you very much. This was the last episode of ELECTRIQUE, the latest episode of ELECTRIQUE, and we'll be back in a few weeks with the next crop of cars, this time cars that are a bit more smaller and a bit more easy to handle. Alright, thank you very much, and tune in next time. Bye bye.